to introduce our two speakers here, Mrs. Wangmo from UC Berkeley, and she is the executive director of the Dhamma College, and as well as the president of the International Buddhist Association of America. Sorry if I spelled it wrong. And it's very honor for me for you to join us today to talk on this topic. So our topic is filial piety, and we also have another speakers from Cambodia, Mr. Neom Chhunny, and he is the lead trainer of meditation of a Vipassana. If I'm, is it right? Yeah. So he will be speaking from Cambodia on this show with us, and he will be sharing his perspective and ideas of the filial piety, and how can we. I personally think that this topic is very important for all of us as a person, that we all owe too much to our elders generation, especially our parents, grandparents, and relatives and teachers and people that living around us, and we can say that all human beings as a whole, because we wouldn't be having everything in our life without their share of activities and share of their ideas and many more things. So I would like to start our question. I want to hear from Mrs. Wangmo first. Based on your traditions and cultures, what should be what can we say about these particular topics, the filial piety, that a younger generation has to pay gratitude to our elders, particularly parents. So, what was your social norm on this topic, and what did the people say about it? So, could you please share your the way of thinking, and as well as based on your cultures and tradition that people are talking about these particular topics? Thank you.
And thank you to all the venerable monks who are also participating in the podcast. It's a great honor to be here on this program, especially to talk about filial piety. The subject is actually very interesting because for myself, I was brought up here in the West. I was brought up in Berkeley, California, in the late 1960s. When the Buddha Dharma was just in a way, the name of Buddha and Dhamma is new a little bit in the Berkeley community. So in the Western culture, especially where I'm from, Buddhism is fairly new, even though we have like now 50 years behind us. But with that came my father and of course my mother, but my father in particular, who comes from the Tibetan tradition and from a long lineage of master and disciple, so very strong roots in the Buddha Dharma, and originally coming from India. Of course, the root of the Buddha Dharma is from India, and then it spread to Tibet. And then he came to India for some time as a refugee, and then came to America. And I was born here in the West. Now 50 years, I'm a mother of two children, two teenagers, and I've been exposed to very strong roots in the Buddha Dharma because my father is a religious figure, and I grew up with symbols of the Buddha Dharma everywhere, either Buddhist flag or Buddha image, or hearing about various great masters. So from early age till now, I've been exposed with my eyes and my mind in the Buddha Dharma. That's been my roots. But I'm also here in the West. And in the West, it is not a Buddhist culture. we have many distractions, or we have many ways of. Am I still on? I don't know if I'm still on, but
yes, you're on.
That are not necessarily Buddhist. So I find that I'm in a very interesting place in my life where the moment I step outside of Dharma college, I am in the world, in the Western world, where people have their strong culture too. And how do we bring what we have been brought up as in our life into a place where we can connect with others and really show the fruits of the teachings of the Buddha, Dhamma, and of course the Sangha, which is the community. So I would say that I was brought up in a very traditional, with strong roots in the Dharma, but I'm also been brought up in the West. So all of my schooling, my education, and I live here in the West. Yeah, so that's what I would like to share.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. You know, I have seen your activities, your works at the International Tipitaka chanting and many more works related to the Buddhist activities. And you have done a wonderful job for sharing and working, especially sharing the wisdom of the teaching of the Buddha to the public, and it's what I think a lot of people, and many monks, I think they are very grateful for your work because it represents our values as the Buddhist practitioners. So, and yes, thank you for that. And I will turn back the question to you. And now I would like to start with Mr. Neom Chhunny on this particular topic. You know, in Cambodian we use the same Katanyu Kata Vedita. You know, so and then for my translation is like knowing one gratitude, and then one should do whatever it takes to pay them back. So that is similar meaning of I think this in the Pali language. And so what would be the norm of the Cambodian culture, the Cambodian tradition, and what have you learned as you are Cambodian from your eldest generation? What have you talked about it? So how can you share this with the people, and especially the younger generation on this particular topic? So please share with us your perspective and ideas based on your culture. Thank you.
Thank you, Venerable Sophia, and good morning, Wangmo from Cambodia. It's my great honor to be here on the show, and also I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful for all the organizers for this talk show. Very first word about being grateful that I learned when I was young. My grandma, every time she has meal, either breakfast or lunch or dinner, she always pay respect and say thank you. And I was like, what are you doing? Why you say thank you to the rice? Why you say thank you to the foods on the table? And I was very young back then. She said, it's important that we are grateful to whatever's on the table, because without this, we won't have our life. Then I start to realize the food didn't say anything, didn't know anything. Why do we need to be grateful to the food or to whatever's on the table? And from time to time, I start to really understand. And to my grandfather used to be a monk. And there's a time he said, Chhunny, do you want to be a monk? I said, why should I be a monk? And he said, because his grandparent also used to be a monk. In order to pay gratitude to our ancestor, to our parent, you should be a monk too, especially pay gratitude to the parent. So I start to hear more of the word gratitude. I started to hear more since I was young. So myself, I was a monk for more than 16 years. I mean, I felt privileged. I felt very gratitude that I was a monk myself to study Buddhism and practice Buddhism since I was young age. And I also spent some time in several countries teaching Buddhism, meditation to either Cambodian or Asian people or some part of Western world as well. So the more I start to feel grateful of seeing, understand the value of being gratitude to whatever people do to me, or being gratitude to whatever thing happened to me, and I feel more happy. I feel more appreciate along the way as well. So within Cambodia, in Cambodian culture, the word "katanyu" is quite important. It's quite, we say, within our culture, we say collectivism, which means the family live close together. Even now, I mean, now we live in modern city, 21st century. There's a lot of people. They live the family after high school in the city, but at the countryside, I mean, everybody still live together. Everybody still live in the same house. I still remember each time I visit home, my relative or my parents still have, just one big bowl in the soup, and then everybody put this dip the spoon in together, not using a different spoon. So we see the sense of community still existed in the countryside, but not pretty much in the town, not pretty much in city. So myself, I am very grateful that I had a chance to be a monk. I had a chance to be in the temple, and I had a chance to learn Buddhism. Also, I had a chance to travel to different places as well. So, in conclusion, we say grateful is the part for the scholar. Grateful is the part for those who live in a happier life. Because the more grateful we are, the more appreciate we have in life. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your ideas on this particular topic. And I would like to turn to Mrs. Wangmo. A lot of younger generation have a different definition of achievements in their life. I know we often struggling and then putting more efforts to work hard and then achieve something. And in America, I think you have seen that we often forget our elders. Most of our elders ended up in the nursing home, and so based on the Buddha's teaching, or what is your personal ideas? How can we inspire people that to pay more attention to their elders? Because for what every one of us have, right? Whether about properties, knowledge, or certificates, or whatever achievement you might have gotten, but the root of those achievements is your grandparents. So I wonder how can you share this particular on the particular topics, and to inspire people to understand their roots and keep their practice of taking care of their parents or their elders in place, that they are not tend to forget when they achieve something in their life. So please, thank you.
Well, I think that modernization today, in a way, is really going against this idea of the family, as our the other speaker here, Mr. Neom, was saying, that this beautiful idea of having a soup pot and everyone sharing together in community. It's so rare today in the West. Our families at the age of 18, and there's such a proud moment when you're 18, is like, now I'm free. I can be independent, and I can go up and do my own thing. And that is, in a way, very much a Western model of people after their high school, they go on for college, and college they quickly go on to get a degree, a further degree, or go on for a job, and it gets further and further away from the family, unless you have a kind of traditional family roots that encourage you to come back. But generally here in the West, most people are quite away from their family after a certain age, until they get married and maybe have they have children, and then they bring them back to the grandchildren for visits. So how how do you deal with that when that is sort of the normal? That seems to be kind of the normal. Maybe in the East, it's very abnormal.
Yes.
Mr. Neom is saying we have a soup pot, we share together, and there's a sense of even living together. So I would say that, one way is, you have to allow them the freedom, because they come of a certain age, and that's just the way it is. But if they can learn through their life the importance of the wisdom that your parents teach you, because there will be moments in your life that may be challenging. There'll be moments in your life that are kind of as if you are entering into this wide world. And which direction do you go? You can go many different directions, but the elders or your parents have some kind of experience. They have some kind of wisdom that we can look to, kind of like as a tool for us to learn very close in, because they want to give you the very best advice. They may not be able to hear it. They may not be able to understand that this is actually good advice. But if they experience in their life, maybe through hardship, maybe through some kind of suffering or dukkha, they will recognize that what the parents did for them is actually of benefit, because they only want to give you the very best. So same thing for me. I have 2 teenagers. I try to give them a little bit of the tradition, but they are also in the West. So I do whatever I can, but ultimately they have to decide how to drive their life, and if they can go back to the roots and see the wisdom, see and understand that these teachings of the Buddha Dharma are so full of wisdom and give you peace and give you a sense of accomplishment, inner accomplishment. It may not be outside accomplishment, but inside accomplishment, how to grow that so that we truly understand ourselves, like the Buddha, that we can understand who we are, how our mind operates, how our body functions. So the more that we understand ourselves, we don't have to get into problem situation.
Yes, yeah. Thank you so much for that great ideas, because freedom but not misunderstanding. Of course, because it's important. Sometimes people are defining the word of freedom in a different ways, and then tend to go into the negative concepts of it. But it is important that all of us to understand the freedom with wisdom, that you can live a life with happiness. So this is very grateful for your ideas. And I would like to turn to Mr. Chhunny. As you are a former Buddhist monk, I think you have learned a lot about Buddha's teaching. And I would like to bring up, in Tipitaka, I forgot the volume. The Buddha has mentioned the purpose of parent. I think a lot of people tend to be parents, and then some people are going to be parents. So basically, we ask a question, and people are going to be a parent. We ask a question: what is the purpose of being a parent? In Tipitaka, the Buddha has mentioned that one of I think there are 5 of them, but I don't know whether I can remember all of it. So one of the purpose that the purpose of the parent to have children is that when they get old, so the kids can look after them, at least can hold their hands to walk, and feed them back when they are in need of the food. So that is one of the purpose, and another purpose is that they want to see their children to carry on their lineage, or their names and their integrity, and then another thing is that another purpose is to share the purpose of parents to share their properties, their wealth. And yeah, I think if you can add more, I think I a long time I didn't going on this, but that is the basically the main purpose of being parents. And then a lot of people are, I think, as a younger generation, they are going to be parents one day, and then they will ask the question, what is the purpose of being a parent? When as in America, you raise a person to be an 18, and then they become freedom as to do as what they wish. So So what would be what can you describe? What can you explain on this purpose of being a parent? So how can that person pay the gratitude back to their parents, to those who invest too much, who dedicated, we look at a younger children like an infant, to raise one baby is extremely difficult, So if you can, please share with us what would you say, and how can you inspire people to understand this? Thank you.
Thank you, Venerable, once again. Also thank Wangmo for bringing up the word freedom with the wisdom. I'll say something about it, but I don't have enough feeling that because I'm not a father yet, so I probably not have fully understood of how, why you have children. So, but before that, let me bring your attention back to the Buddha time a little bit. The Buddha himself, after he gained enlightenment, there's a time he went back to the heaven to help support his mom's spirit. And also after he gained enlightenment, the very first thing that he was being grateful that he thought of his two master, Aladaka and Ramaputta, the master, the one who taught him meditation, the one who taught him the yoga or Attakalamathana yoga of the body. So he himself already profound, he himself already connected the word gratitude, gratefulness. So I mean myself, I'm really grateful that I had a chance to be a monk. I had a chance to understand more, learn more about Buddhism. Without temple, without Buddhism, I would not be talking to you. I would not be where I am right now, because I was a buffalo boy when I was young. I was taking care of buffalo, but because of Buddhism, because of temple, led my life to where I am right now. So let's go back to the reason why parents created children. So as I understand from my grandparent or from my relatives and family back home, you were right. The very first thing is important that to share the knowledge, experience that already handed down for many generations to the younger generation. But also in Cambodia, we talk a lot about the inherited, the property, and also talking about taking care the parent when the parent getting old. I mean, there's a five duty for the child. There's a five duty, but one of those duty, the kid or the children have to take care of the parent when the parent getting old, either supporting the food, the accommodation, or the medicine, or all of those, whatever is needed for life. So let's just go back to the word Katanyu Katawiti in Khmer, Filial and Piety. So these are very important, quite unique. We say the more to live in life, we can't forget about our ancestor. We can't forget about what's already happened like 1,000 years ago. We live in modern world, in modern city. We live in, because at the moment, a lot more people are trying to achieve something. They say by become more success to have a big home or achieve whatever it is happening. So we try to run after the material. We try to run after those. We are very consumerism. No matter how much we achieve, no matter how much we have, if we don't have enough gratitude habit, if we don't have enough gratitude activity within our life, we're probably not very happy. We're probably not very satisfied. Like Wangmo was just saying that, we learn about Buddhism, we understand more about ourselves. So being grateful to being gratitude to what we learned from the Buddha, being gratitude to what we learned from our ancestor, it helped us to connect more to ourselves. It helped us to understand more of their part already happened. So when we have enough time to understand the ancestors' part, to understand what already laid down in the former time, so that we can use that knowledge to combine with what the modern and community we're living, so that life full of enrichment, life full of what we call the old path from the old master, so that we can live a better life. We say in business world, we say the old wisdom and the modern wisdom together, it comes money or it comes property. We can't just forget our ancestor. We can't just forget our parent. We can't just forget who lit the path, who showed the path before us or ahead. Otherwise, we won't actually go easily. We won't actually create the path easily. Like, for example, when the kid grow up, the kid probably the first thing they learn is from the parent. When they are able to go to school, they learn from school, from the community. So the very first thing they should be grateful is their parent. The more kids are grateful to the parent, the more happiness and the more sense of community they are within the family. Myself, I really miss the most being as a community. I miss the most when I was a monk, that every time we had lunch or we had breakfast together as a community. So I felt that sense of community is still strong touch to my heart. And I really miss that. Each time I think of it, it helped me to be more compassionate, to give more, to share more to whoever needed around me. So I think this is why it's important that the younger generation should be more open to learn, to understand, to accept. They can adapt whatever they can adapt into the modern community, but it's important to understand, and it's important to learn. Also, it's important to give back to the native, or it's important to give back to the older, or mainly to the parents. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Chhunny, for your perspectives on this topic. And I would like to turn to Mrs. Wangmo. I think we would get more ideas and wisdom from you, because as you are a mom, so basically not it is a common sense that being a mom, that what we want our children to be. I think you would have more ideas better than us, because as you are a mom. So one of that, as I said, as I mentioned, that the purpose of being a parent, that we want our children to look after us when we as parents couldn't help ourselves when we are aging, and at the same time also to carry our names and lineage forward to the next generation, and as well as to share and to provide and to look after the properties and wealth. And one more important thing on that is that to be a good person in the society. I think most of all parents, we can say, that want to see their children to be a valuable assets to the community, to the family, as well as to the country and to the world. So what would you say to that, and how can you inspire people to understand this? I think you would share with us very great ideas on this. So thank you so much. So please go ahead. Thanks.
I think that so much of how we learn are from our examples. The reason why I'm so motivated to do working for the Dharma or giving my life in service to the Dharma is because I have a great father who continues to dedicate, even at the age of 85, all of his energy to the Buddha Dharma. And I see it with my own eyes. I see how much he cares for preserving the teachings. For me, that was my example, very small example, a living example. And I also, as a parent, have to be an example. So I have to really live a life that they can look to as an example. They may not understand it at this age when they're 18. They may not understand it at the age of 25. But maybe one day They will understand what their parents did, what sacrifice, and why they did it. Because they have to look back and see, these were my parents, what did they do? And you continuously have to be open in the communication. Because of course, when you're 18 and just starting out, especially here in the West, they have so many opportunities to go. This freedom is a very strong word. And you can't offer the control of that freedom, but you have to let go. As a parent, I think I tell my kids, you are my teachers, more than anything else, because I have to learn from them more than anything about how to adjust or how to learn from them so that they understand. And it may not be just because I told them. I tell you this is how it should be, that it should be like this, but more that they learn and they open up in their own heart to understand the importance and the significance, because one day I won't be here and they have to understand themselves what is important, and they have to understand and open the heart for appreciation. And I think that moment when you have that gratitude, like our speaker was talking about, is a very beautiful moment. And it doesn't necessarily happen immediately. It's not taken for granted. It's something that happens very naturally when someone has great gratitude for an elder and respect, and it comes naturally. So if you give them the good roots, you have to in some way let go. You have to let go because if you control them, they may just be, not really understanding in the long term. So you have to trust that. There has to be deep trust that they will understand, and maybe sometime in the future, they will open their heart to the Buddha Dharma, or to understanding about respect, to understanding the teachings, or gratitude. And I think the more that you stay close to culture and see and visit, I think my father was very smart. I went to Bodh Gaya when I was 18. Every year he would take me from 18 in the winter. And I didn't understand why, because my friends were going and doing other things for the Christmas holiday. But why I go to Bodh Gaya, fly for 20 hours on the flight, and then get on the train, and the train Gaya. At that time, no airport in Gaya.
Yes. Yeah.
And we have to take the many books, Buddhist books to give. And I don't understand why. But now when I had my children and I have some life experience, I look back on what my parents did, and because of them, I am who I am. Just like Mr. Neom said, without them, I'm nothing. Because they really gave me the direction, they gave me all their care. And if I can do that to my children, it's a different world now. I mean, I feel like 50 years ago is very different than today's world. And so I will try my best to give what I can for my kids, but I don't know. I mean, I hope that they go to Bodh Gaya. I hope they will meet the monks. I hope they will meet, the great masters. That's my wish. But sometimes you have to also let go and to understand that there's a trust and there's karma. Karma.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. This is a very, life is all about learning. You have to learn and then adapt and then think about it, and then it will be automatically changed by its nature. People can be a better person only because they learn from the past, and then live with the present, and then change for the future. So it is important for all of it. And I have read an article, and it was so inspiring, and it's so fascinating. On a person, she's a Malaysian, and then came to the United States and lived here for a number of years, and then she wrote an article about that, and she said the longer she lived in the United States, and she keep telling herself that this is not who I am. This is not what I want in life, because she keep because she was raised by her grandmother, and in Malaysia, and she was saying that the more longer she live, she has everything in US, a good job, a good pay, you know, everything, but it doesn't touch her feeling. So at some point, you know, at the age of like, but when her grandmother is getting very old, and she decided to give up everything in the US and then go back home and then live with her grandmother, and then she said that is what I am, because this is represent who we are as a person, because you know what you have is of course it is everything in your life, but that doesn't represent your values and your everything that make you happy. So you know, that article is inspiring, you know, and then hearing from you that you've been to Buddhagaya for a number of times since a young age, and then you know that because that injected into your brain, your feeling, and everything. So and that's important for all of us to learn, you know, to observe and learn, and then make some certain change and for the better. And that is called the Filial Piety, because we pay a gratitude to the one who have done it first for our destination. So I would like to turn this question into another question to Mr. Chhunny. Of course, as a person, we have many masters, we have many instructors, we have many teachers who sacrifice, who dedicate, especially in Cambodia, you know, we have many, especially monks. As you are a temple boy, and I myself a temple boy, and we live in a temple, and then monks are brought us up, and the teachers and the guided us. So as a person, you know, we owe them too much. We owe them their guidance, the teaching that they advising us, they corrected us, you know, leading us. So how can we express, for Mr. Chhunny, how can we express our gratitude toward our teachers and people around us? So could you please share your ideas and perspective as your personal experiences as well? Thank you.
Once again, before going to that, I would like to mention Wangmo was saying about her trip to Buddhagaya by train or by bus or whatever. It reminds me when I was young. When I was very young, my parents, mainly on Khmer New Year or the Pyumban, the Buddhist festival within we call Pyumban Day or Khmer New Year, my parents always organize, you know, food and dessert and asked me to go around to offer those food to the older people around my village. And I wasn't know why, you know, I didn't really know why I did that. But each time I did it with my mom, I felt so blessed. I felt so happy after we gave them some small money, we gave them some food, we gave them some kind of dessert. And each time I did, I just felt so happy. And I didn't know anything about it. I only come to understand right after I became a novice monk, like, you know, many years ago. So this is how it connected, you know, when we kind of do something back to those who used to do something good for us. So regarding to the question that went from monk asking about how we pay gratitude to our master, you're right. I have many master monks through my life as a monk. Each time that I think about my life, I think about where I am right now. I thought those many masters along the way, not just the master who helped ordain me as monk, but also the older, I call the senior monk. One of the senior monk that I would never forget about him. He was very strict. He was very principled, even when do the chanting. Just one hit. You hear me?
Yes. Go on.
Yeah, actually,
keep going.
Hit it hurt. I was so angry with him for without him forcing me to practice more, I would not understand what I know right now. So by paying gratitude to the master, I mean, first, we don't need to consider our material of anything that we need to offer. So each day, I would say as me as a person or whoever live on the earth, any material, or we don't have anything to offer back. At least each day, it's important to just wake up and be grateful to say, I am so grateful that I have my master help me along the way. I am so grateful that I have my parent, because I'm brought up in a good paradise where we are right now. I am so grateful for all the friends and people around that helped upon me along the way. That's why I am where I am right now. So I just remind that each day, it spent only like 3 to 5 minutes. We call grateful morning. Being grateful to the master, being grateful to the parent, being grateful to the nature, being grateful to surrounding. The more we do that, the more we find life happy. The more we do that, the more we find life more appreciated, because we can't live without those old paths. We can't live without those old masters, those old parents, and those teaching. So that's why I think it's important to just take 5 to 3 minutes. In English, we say, how you start your morning is how you start your day. If we start our morning great, then the whole day will be great. For me, each day I meditate a morning and before I go to bed. So while I do meditation in the morning, I'm just being grateful to the health that I'm having. I'm grateful to the light that I'm having every day. I'm grateful to the master. I'm grateful to the teaching. I'm grateful to friend. I'm grateful to all those people around me. The more I am doing grateful, the more I am happy. And also, it's important to pay respect to those around you. It's important to pay respect to those old masters. So the more we do that, the more we connected to the friendship, the more we have all good friends around. At least people say, hey, he's a good man, whatever happened, he at least paid back to his community by giving something, or by just sharing the smile, by just sharing the good word. So I think this is important, that the younger generation or whoever live on the earth, it's important to be grateful to the Buddha, to the teaching, to the Jesus Christ, to whoever that will share the planet.
Thank you so much. So I think we are almost about the time to end our talk show. So I will give each of you 1 or 2 minutes so we can sum up your personal thinking and ideas of this particular topic. So as I would like to start with Mrs. Wangmo, what would you like to say in order to inspire people who, to understand this particular topic, to understand that how grateful they are to have the parents who look after them, as well as the people, good people that live there, that sort of living surrounding them. So as a person, what should they, practice, and what should they do in their daily life? So please, Mrs. Wang.
Say that, I'm so deeply grateful to my parents and for everything that they have given me. My mother's not here, but for my father, for giving me the direction in my life, to be so close to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, and to give my life to that. And I would never have known about that. My eyes or my mind would not have known about this until my father introduced it to me. And so I would say to all of you who are of the younger generation, that our parents wish and do the very best for them. They care in the most beautiful way, whatever capacity they can. And they are serving you for your future. And so even though we are here in the West, where we have this independence, this very, wish to become independent, to go our own way, and to find our own path. Yes, this is true. Many people are doing that. But don't forget your parents. Don't forget your roots. My father always said, don't forget your roots. And your roots are where you came from. And there's tremendous wisdom that has been passed on from hundreds of years into these families. And you can take it for your benefit, what that wisdom is. Of course, today is a modern day society. So how you bring that into this new day, it depends on you. But if you can stay close with the wisdom teachings, that will be an incredible tool for you. It's like having more valuable than anything else, maybe, your friend's directive or an exciting idea, something that's very tempting or very distracting. But if you know that you have some wisdom from your parents, you can choose, you can think carefully how to use that wisdom in your daily life. And to connect to gratitude is very important. When the heart opens up to gratitude, then you can start to really live a life full of meaning and purposeful, because you are thankful, you are grateful for what you have been given. And when you start your day that way, as Mr. Neom says, it's a very different day when your mind opens up into gratitude. When you start to think about how thankful you are for what you have, it's a very different orientation than what can I get? How can I get this? It's like a very different perspective. So if you start your day with, I am grateful for being alive. I am grateful for being in this human body, especially during this pandemic time when there's so many people who are not, surviving, but we have so much to be grateful for. And so, and to take care of those that took care of you, to give back to your family and give them a smile, give them something that will make them feel good, especially at this time. And so thank you for giving me this opportunity to share a little bit of what I know, but if it's worth anything, I offer it. Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Thank you so much. We are very honored to have you on our show. And at the time of Mr. Chhunny, 1 minute, please. You want to say to the people on this particular topic? Thank you.
Thank you once again, Venerable Sophia. You hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So, like Wangmo was said, it's all about gratitude to the parent, to ancestors. So, I'm very deeply grateful to my grandfather that he allowed me to be a monk, that I learned the path, and also I'm grateful to the temple, to Buddhism, to all friends and my family who allowed me to do what I am doing right now as well. So I'm really grateful for that. Like one more was just saying, think of your root. Be grateful to your root, to where you came from. This is so important. As a young generation, younger generation, if you want to be success, if you want to be success and help build your country, your community, it's important first to help yourself and be grateful to yourself and really help support your parents. Be grateful to your parents, to your ancestor. So those will give you a lot of energy to go along as well. So at the end, I would just say, those who ever grateful, have what we call a gratitude habit in life, you'll find an easy way. You find a happiness part along the way as well. So this is in Khmer we call Katanyu Katawiti. So do whatever we can to give back to those who helped support us before, and be grateful not just in the spirit, not just in heart, but also try to do something back as an action as well. So the more we live a life with gratefulness, the more we find the success and happiness within our heart. So I am really grateful to be able to join the show this morning. I'm from Cambodia with Venerable Sophia and also Mrs. Wangmo. My gratitude to all of you for doing this work. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So I would like to wrap up this talk show, and then thank you to all Venerable monks who happen to watch this show, and then to all the people. Be grateful for what you have. Be grateful to your parents. Be grateful to everything around you, and do whatever it takes to pay them back. You know, whether it is simply a good thoughts toward others is more than enough that we all are grateful for. And please stay safe and be mindful while living your life, because we are living in this pandemic and we are all in this together. Do your part to prevent it, and then we all will help each other and then go through this difficult time together. So